Hey guys, this is Spartacus here, and the Black Ops 6 beta ended a little while ago, but we are just about a month away until the full launch of Black Ops 6, and until that game comes out, I'd still of course want to talk about Black Ops 6 considering I've only made really one video about it, and since I have not put out a review for the Black Ops 6 beta, I figured I would actually just upload this video and talk about my one major concern that I have for Black Ops 6 at launch, which is one that I know plenty of other content creators have already shared with their own videos, and they've already put it out like at least a week before this one has, so I'm a little late to the party when it comes to this topic, but I do believe Black Ops 6 has one major issue at launch, and that is going to be the map pool. There's probably going to be plenty of other issues that are unforeseen at this moment, but from what we've gotten within the beta and from the experience that we had with the game, I can confidently tell you that the biggest issue that I can see at launch for Black Ops 6 is the map pool. Whenever I would open up Twitter during the beta and I would read everyone's feedback on the game, the two biggest complaints I saw everybody have were the spawns and skill-based matchmaking, which, if I'm being honest, those are the two biggest complaints I see every year within Call of Duty, so there really isn't anything new there. However, I will say that this year I definitely think the spawns may play a big impact just because of the way the map is laid out. It might prevent these spawns from being really bad, and that's something I can definitely discuss later in the video. However, there is one thing I would like to mention, which I think is important to say, and I want you guys to take this with a grain of salt because there is no way of me to confirm this. It is definitely just a rumor, but it is one that is definitely believable in my eyes, and that is that the reason why the spawn system within Call of Duty has not been great over the last few years is because we are using the same engine. This spawn system that we see, the spawn logic, whatever kind of spawn logic it's supposed to be, it is, I guess, ingrained within the Call of Duty engine, and that's why we always see it being bad every year in every new title that we get. And of course, this engine was created by none other than Infinity Ward, so I guess theoretically we could blame Infinity Ward for how bad these spawns are in a Treyarch game. Isn't that just so silly to say out loud? But see, like I said, take it with a grain of salt. It looks like we're using the same engine as Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 2019. It's probably like, anyway, it's the same engine, right? We're using the same engine as Modern Warfare into this Black Ops 6 game, and so therefore it has the same spawn system, apparently, supposedly, allegedly, however you want to say it. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. While we take a closer look at the Black Ops 6 maps, it's definitely important to understand what each map size is going to be. So of course we had a small taste of the maps during the beta, with the rest of the map pool not knowing what they're going to be. But thankfully, Treyarch, shortly after the beta ended, they gave us information on what the size of every map in Black Ops 6 is going to be, which is great to see. So of course there is a blog post in the description below that shows you I'm not crazy of where I'm getting this information from. But essentially, when it comes to a medium-sized map, they are pretty much using the scale of like Raid from Black Ops 2 or the map Summit from the original Black Ops as like a medium-sized map. So that's kind of like, I guess, their scale that they're using to describe a medium-sized map. So anyway, let me go ahead and list off the size of all the maps here for Black Ops 6 at launch. So all the medium-sized maps are going to be Vault, Protocol, Lowtown, Red Card, Vorkuta, Skyline, Rewind, and Scud. And then the remaining maps are going to be small or strike maps. The small classification maps are going to be Subsonic, Payback, Babylon, and Derelict, and then the strike maps being Warhead, Pit, Gala, and Stakeouts. Now, of course, we can see here just from the list that we have 16 total maps. 8 of them are going to be medium, 4 of them are going to be small, and then the remaining 4 are going to be strike maps, which are essentially just smaller maps. So you could technically say that half of the map pool at launch for Black Ops 6 is going to have small maps. And so this is definitely a concern of mine with the Call of Duty franchise moving forward, not so much within Black Ops 6 in particular, because I've definitely noticed this trend that we're getting a lot more small maps within Call of Duty, especially with Modern Warfare 2, or excuse me, Modern Warfare 3 is a good example of that, of getting like more original small maps. And don't get me wrong, like I like playing on small maps, but there seems to be like this player base in Call of Duty, and if not the majority of players who play Call of Duty, seem to only play on small maps. And I can tell you this, guys, right now, that sometimes when I play with my brother, who, keep in mind, is only like a couple years younger than me, when we play Call of Duty together and he is the host, we are only playing on a small map mosh pit playlist. That is the only playlist that we will play on. We will not play on anything else that we see within multiplayer, and I hate it. I absolutely, I even tell my brother, I'm like, why are we only playing on small maps? Like, there's no thought put into these maps, or not no thought put into the maps, but no thought into playing them, right? There's no strategy. It's just like, open your mouth, drool, and point and shoot. That's literally like how some of these maps are. That's literally the shipment. That's the shipment experience for you, for the most part. And they try to bring that into like original maps that come out like later on in seasons. And so, don't get me wrong, like, I don't mind playing on small chaotic maps. I love the chaos. It's definitely fun, and I can definitely deal with it, and I can go off when I want to. But the issue is that I feel like it's poisoning the Call of Duty player base, because it's not giving anybody a strategic perspective when playing on maps. And so that's kind of my biggest complaint there, as someone who's been playing ranked play within Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. It's definitely given me a different perspective on multiplayer, on how the game should be played. And I definitely think that by having medium to larger size maps, that gives us the opportunity to have those strategic approaches when playing on the maps, and giving us more unique play styles rather than the same chaotic playstyle that we get every single time we play Shipment or any of the small maps within a Call of Duty game. Now, for this part of the video, I want to discuss why, as a community, we feel like we're playing on small maps. Why the majority, if not all the maps we were playing in the beta, felt like they were small maps. Of course, I just listed off to you what all the medium, small, and strike maps are. And if you look at that list, you'll notice that the only medium-sized maps that we played in the beta were Skyline, Rewind, and Scud. And I think everybody can agree that Rewind and Scud were definitely the bigger sized feeling maps in the game. And so even though Treyarch has came out and said that they're not going to have any large maps in this game at launch anyway, people might argue that Rewind and Scud are large maps, and I can definitely see why. But the thing about Scud and Rewind, and the reason why they might feel large to us, is because there's a lot of open space, especially on a map like Rewind. Really, the only parts of the map that you're going to ever see people are like the very center of the map, where like the B flag location will be, and really any indoor part of the map. That's really where all the action is going to be on Rewind. Sure, there's going to be some street fights and, you know, like, I don't know, backdoor fights that are from the other side of the mall or whatever you're at, you know. There's obviously going to be some gunfights in other locations of the map other than the indoor parts, but there's a lot of open space, and so in that open space there's nothing filled in there, and so maybe that's why. So maybe Treyarch just eliminates all that open space, and that's why they classify it as a medium map. I have no idea. But then you look at a map like Scud, for example, there's a lot of open space on that map, and the spawns on that map are even predictable in Domination. So like, if you're playing Domination on Scud, like, the team that spawns behind the satellite is an extremely easy spawn to actually spawn kill people in, because they just spawn in that building that's behind the giant satellite, and between that building behind the satellite and the satellite itself, there really isn't that much space, and so it makes it really easy for the other team to take you out in that position. And then you look at a map like Derelict, for example. Derelict is a small map, and Derelict, in my opinion, is one of the worst maps to play on Domination, and how easy it is to trap the other team in a spawn. And I don't remember which flag location this is, or objective location in Domination, but for the map Derelict, there's one side of the map that has a really bad spawn point where there's literally only two areas to escape from. You're literally spawning inside these train carts, and you have to exit this spawn area by exiting the train cart from either the left or the right side, and there's only two ways you can leave, and so it makes it really easy for the other team to predict where you're going to be spawning from, so especially on Domination. And that's another thing I'd like to mention, is that the game modes here within Black Ops 6, it seemed like objective game modes are the ones that had the worst spawn system. When I was playing game modes like TDM or Kill Order, the spawns I really didn't have an issue with. There weren't really too many situations where I was frustrated with a spawn that I got within those modes. But Domination, though, Domination usually has more predictable spawns, but they seem to be too predictable to the point where the map layout is like almost making it worse, because unless maybe they change the way the objectives are located on Domination, maybe it would make the spawn system better. That's definitely a possibility. I've seen somebody come up with a suggestion on Domination for the map Derelict, and how the B location should actually be moved to the edge of the map where that rock is, and it has like kind of a head glitch location. And so I definitely think that could work out, and I don't think it would be a bad spot to have a B location for that map. So I've definitely seen some good suggestions out there where the objectives could be changed to make the spawn system better, and I definitely think that could be something Treyarch could think of. Another thing I like to mention to like kind of like tie into more of like why we feel like the maps are small in this game, and that's because we have faster movements. Think back to the current Call of Duty game right now, right? Modern Warfare 3. What maps did we get at launch for that game? We got the OG MW2 maps that we've some of us have experienced back in the older Call of Duty game, which we are now getting to experience in the newer title. But before the game came out, I already had this speculation that the maps were not at all going to play the same. I already knew it's not going to be the same game, so there's no way that the maps are going to play the same as they did back in the old OG MW2, right? And the big reason why I knew that was going to be the case is because the movement was not going to be the same. The movement was a significant improvement that we had from the newer MW2, and it's a much bigger improvement from the OG MW2. You got to remember, back in those older Call of Duty games, we didn't even have unlimited sprint unless you had it on like Lightweight Pro, for example. Like, that was the only way to get unlimited sprint. Otherwise, you just didn't have unlimited sprint. Now, within this day and age in Call of Duty, we always have unlimited sprint. We don't even need a perk for it anymore. And with Black Ops 6, they've even like tallied onto the movement by giving us omnidirectional movement. So movement is faster now. It's just going to get faster as Call of Duty gets on, it seems like. And so when we play on these multiplayer maps, it's so much easier to move from point A to point B. And that's, I think, a huge reason why we feel like these maps are small, is because I don't think the team at Treyarch, or really at just any of these studios, I just don't think they always take into consideration the map layout and the movement that they're using to apply to the maps. So, because like going back to MW3 again, like since we got OG MW2 maps, they just basically copy and pasted all those maps into the newer game and then just gave us better movement. And so therefore it didn't really create the most balanced experience. And I think that is definitely something to bring up and think about when we think about these maps here within Black Ops 6. Now, even with everything that I've said, even now that we know the map sizes for all the maps that are coming out launch for Black Ops 6, and even though the game modes definitely play a factor on how the spawns work on these maps, the layouts is definitely, I think, the big part about the maps that concerns me the most, and I think is a big reason why some of these spawns are not working well, and why some of the objective locations, like in Domination, why it doesn't really benefit the spawn system either, or at least it doesn't benefit the player's experience on the spawn system, that is. And so, and with that being said, there are still lots of maps we have not tried out during the full game. There is plenty of medium-sized maps. I mean, heck, we have like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 medium-sized maps that we haven't even played yet that's going to be at the launch of this game. So all of this concern about the maps feeling like they're small may not actually be an issue for launch, but it is something that I was having a big concern of from the start of the beta till it ended. It was still something that was on my mind, and it's definitely a concern of mine with not just Black Ops 6, but with the Call of Duty franchise moving forward. And so I really hope the map pool is good at launch. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I am really looking forward to see what Treyarch has up their sleeves. Treyarch usually does not disappoint me, but I gotta say, I was a little upset when I played the beta, because I thought to myself, I'm like, this was 4 years that they took them to develop, and people will be like, it's only a beta, of course there's going to be issues. Dude, guys, like, I'm going to be honest with you, this was probably one of the smoothest betas I've played in Call of Duty in years. Sure, it did crash on me quite a bit, but honestly, the beta experience, like, it felt pretty smooth. There really weren't any bugs and glitches, which is definitely a good sign in my opinion. But anyway, Call of Duty, it's the same. I mean, we go through the same shit every year, it seems like. It's the Call of Duty cycle, right? I'm sure we're all aware of what that is. But anyway, I'm just rambling on at this point. Let me know what you guys think about the maps that we had during the beta, and whether or not you think the map pool is going to improve or decline when the full game comes out. I'm really curious what you guys' thoughts are on Black Ops 6 and the map pool. Please leave your comments down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to watch more videos in the future. And I shall catch you guys later.